Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to Escape from Crazytown, the Happy Crappy Hour recap, the shortened version of today's live stream. If you want to see the full version, which has more detail and examples and a couple of different points in it, watch the long live stream, the longer version. And I'll put that in the description. This is a recap, but also I include a couple of different things in the recap because it occurs to me afterwards, of course. So, welcome. Today's topic is, can narcissists change? And there are two situations where a narcissist appears to change, right? One is exactly what I just said. They appear to change. They acknowledge that there is something they did that needs to change. They need to apologize for. And they appear like they're recognizing they did something wrong. But in the long run, what happens is they're going to go back on that. They're going to take a stronger stance on what they did and how they were justified, regardless of what happened afterwards, right? They'll justify that they had to commit a crime in order to get back at somebody. And then they'll see, okay, I was wrong. I shouldn't have committed that crime. But then they'll go back to, no, I was still justified. And everybody else and the law and everything that has come against me is wrong. So no, they don't change, right? But for a temporary moment, they seem like they get it. They seem humble enough to apologize or say they recognize they were wrong. But then when they retell the story, even years later, they will change back to their original stance, which is they were justified in what they did. They don't see that they did anything wrong. So the narcissist does not change. Now, there are situations where someone who seems narcissistic will change because they were traumatized, much like the narcissist, and maybe even by a narcissist, most likely, actually. And then they take on the behaviors and the characteristic of a narcissist because that's what they learned to do in life, how to cope and how to handle life. So they behave like a narcissist, but then they're called on it. Somebody in their life at some point will tell them this is unacceptable behavior. You cannot just blow up because you're angry. You need to learn to have self-control. Or there are two things that drive a narcissist that we can change in ourselves. Now, we can have these two things also, but the difference between a narcissist and someone who may behave like a narcissist is what they do with these two things. The first one is jealousy. So everybody can be jealous, right? You don't have to be a narcissist to be jealous, but jealousy fuels a narcissist for a lifetime. They do not ever learn how to control jealousy. They don't know how to not compare themselves to other people. Nowadays, it seems like because of social media, more and more people are narcissistic. And part of that, or the thing that drives that really, is jealousy. People are becoming more and more narcissistic because they allow jealousy to enter their life. They compare themselves with other people. They're unsatisfied with what they have. They're not grateful for the things they do have. Instead, they focus on what others have, right? This seems to happen quite a lot. And they also feel like they have to be the prettiest, the strongest, the most handsome, the most successful, and they're not happy until they feel like they've beat somebody else, right? They've beat them in the beauty contest or in the popularity contest, or likability, right? They feel like they're always competing with other people. This is narcissistic. Although narcissists will be like this their entire life. They are always jealous. They're going to allow jealousy to run their life. But there are many people right now who are just narcissistic, and they can change. They can change when it's brought to their attention that they're jealous, right? When they are humble enough to admit to themselves that maybe there's nothing wrong with the person I'm jealous of, and I want to smear them, and I want to beat them, and I want to overcome them, but actually it's an internal unhappiness. an internal unsatisfaction with myself. Once they recognize that, and here's the deal, you guys, this is what I do. When there's a feeling that comes over me, like maybe depression, sadness, hopelessness, could be jealousy, could be anger, whatever the negative emotion might be, I will rebuke it. And as a Christian, we rebuke things in the name of Jesus. So I'm giving you this tool right now. Even if you don't believe in Jesus, rebuke it, right? I think it is more powerful when you rebuke in the name of Jesus, because that's what I do. I don't know any other way to do it, but if it works for you, do this. Just rebuke it. Say, I reject this jealous feeling. I reject this hatred. I reject this anger. I have to say, and it just comes naturally for me, in the name of Jesus, because that has the power behind it. So when you feel these feelings, just like a narcissist does, the difference between you and the narcissist is you can reject it. You can turn from it. You can make sure it does not control your life. So the other thing that narcissists have, that we also have, that can control our life, is hatred. Hatred, you guys. So when jealousy gets to the point, or it may not even be jealousy, could be hatred, could be caused by many things, right? But when narcissists hate something, they cannot let go. They will allow this hatred to overtake their life. They pit this person or a group of people as their enemy, and they cannot see that group of people or that person is even human, right? They will hate to the core, and that destroys them, and it destroys everything around them. As they hold on to this hatred, the purpose for them to even hold on to it is to try and destroy the people they hate. But what they end up doing is destroying everybody around them. So when we hold on to hatred, the same consequences will follow us. We will end up destroying everything around us and our own lives. So if you are feeling hatred, and this is a human feeling. I'm not saying like jealousy and hatred is ever, inhumane, and you should not ever feel these things. We're going to feel these things. These are our weaknesses, okay? And then there's the justified hatred, okay? But you don't want that hatred to grow to the point where it controls you, all right? Don't do that. When you start to feel that way, when you start to feel this uncontrollable hatred towards someone, you start to feel triggered. That's one of the indicators that this hatred has control over you. You feel triggered. So that means it's controlling you. You could be walking along, having a great day, and then something happens that triggers you into anger. And that's this hatred. So if you are being controlled in that way, you need to rebuke the hatred in order to see straight. Narcissists do not see straight because they will hold on to the hatred and use it as a guide to what they're going to do. You do not want that to be your guide, okay? You want sanity and reality and truth to be your guide. You want self-control to be your guide. You want to be able to make good decisions. Narcissists do not make good decisions because they allow their emotions to control them. They allow their deceptions and their delusions to control them. They cannot see the truth because they insist that what they feel is the truth instead of stepping back from what they're feeling and looking at the situation from a broader lens. So I would suggest you do the same thing. Rebuke the hatred, rebuke this feeling from taking you over, reject it, and when you say it out loud, you will feel this calm overcome you. That's the most amazing thing about being able and physically and vocally rejecting these emotions that can be so passionate that it takes over your life and destroys you. And it will destroy even your relationships with people who love you, right? They're trying to get you to see the truth. When we do this with narcissists, we try to get the narcissist to see the truth. We try to get them to see that what they believe is actually a delusion, right? It's not, the person they hate is not to be hated to that point, but they can't see that. They believe that that person deserves their hatred. Anyway, that will take them over. Here's the good news for us. We can still make our own choices. Now, narcissists could do this, but they are so trapped in their way of thinking, in the way their brain is wired, they just cannot even comprehend that they could be wrong, right? So they'll keep running in this direction of jealousy and hatred while we can stop ourselves. We actually have some guardrails that say, whoa, 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 back up. Don't go over this line, because if you go over this line, you may end up in jail, right? If you go over this line, you may actually destroy your life for good. You may actually sever ties with good people in your life. You don't want to do that. So you reel it back, you make different choices, you rebuke these feelings, you actually self-reflect, which is another thing narcissists do not do. You will self-reflect and then recognize what things are there that you are still in control of. Now, there are situations and circumstances, I understand, where you don't feel like you have a choice because it's happening to you, right? But you have a choice in the way you respond. So say you get into a car accident, not a major one, just a small one, right? You can react by throwing a fit, right? You could get out of your car and start screaming and yelling at people. Or you can get out of your car and be calm and handle the situation calmly and see that if the other person was at fault, you will take it to court and you will prove that you were right. Now, if you throw a fit and you start banging on their car and you start kicking their door, now you're the aggressor. And even if the accident was their fault, now they have a case against you. You see how the difference is? What choices you make. It could be the same situation, but what choices you make in that situation will determine the outcome of your life. So there's a book that I would love to recommend to you. It's called Choice Privilege. And it is written by Melissa Tate, who is an immigrant from Zimbabwe. She says that when she was young, her mother told her that the choices that she makes will determine her life, how good her life turns out, right? So if you make good choices, your life is more likely and will likely turn out to be good. And if you make bad choices, your life is likely and will turn out to be bad. And even if there are good things that happen to bad people, as we all know does happen because life is unfair, those good things that happen to bad people are temporary. Even if they appear like all success is coming their way, they're always at a party, they have beautiful clothes and houses and cars, but when they are interviewed, you find out that these people live a very dark and empty life. So you do not want this darkness in your life. You do not want to just appear successful. You want to actually be successful as a human being, as a person. And guess what? When you make good choices, you're actually going to get all these other good things too. It does happen. They call it the law of attraction, but it's also choices you make. If you choose to believe bad, bad tends to happen. If you choose to believe good, good tends to happen. But if you choose to do good, how much more powerful is that? All right, you guys. So that's the good news. You do not have to be like the narcissist. You can change, while narcissists do not change. They go to the very end of their lives miserable. Even if it looks like they got away with crimes all through their life, it's still a miserable life that there's nothing there for you to be jealous of. So remember that, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to watch a commercial once in a while. That really helps my channel. I've noticed that people are watching, so thank you. Keep doing that, and I hope I can get more people to, just let the commercial run once in a while. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and make some comments. I do read the comments on these newer videos, and I will respond to you. It's more likely that I'll see your comments if you put them on the newer videos. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Have a great week, and I will see you next week.